This is Andy Purewal for Boxing Social in association with Betfred, and I'm joined by Lerrone Richards over Zoom. Lerrone, how are you doing?
Yes, I'm doing good. I'm doing good. How about yourself?
I'm all good, thank you, mate. It's good to catch up. It's been a while since we last spoke. I'm trying to think back
Yeah,
to the time when we last spoke. It may have actually been um, in person when you fought Lennox Clark in Birmingham.
yeah.
Some time ago. A lot
Yeah.
has happened since then, but you finally
Mhm.
got your fight announcement. You know, every time I interview Dave, I always ask him, "What's the latest with Aaron? What's the latest with Hopi, with Jordan, and with yourself?" He always says, "There's a date we're working towards. We know what's going on." But it's finally been announced. How relieved are you, May 15th, back in the ring for that European title?
Yeah, I feel great. I'm very happy. It's something I've always wanted. I've always wanted to achieve things and do things a traditional way, British, Commonwealth, and now European. And once I've won this title, we can start looking, above. But my main focus is the European title, and I can't wait to get in the ring and showcase my skills.
Talk to me about the man who you'll be facing, Giovanni De Carolis, your opponent, man in the other side of the ring. Just what do you know about him?
I know that he was a former WBA world champion, a regular champion. He's a strong, could box a bit, can fight a bit, can punch a little bit. So it's a good test for me. He's very experienced as well. So it's not an easy fight. It is a tough fight, but it's a fight that I know I'm capable of winning, and I'm winning well.
So how are you expecting it to play out when the pair of you in the ring, when you are beginning to trade with each other? How are you expecting the fight to play out?
To be honest, I ain't really looked into it like that. I just focus on what I do, and whatever happens on the night happens. You got to be able to adjust in the ring, and I'm very, very good at doing that.
Lerone, we all know you have a fantastic boxing skill set and you've produced some brilliant performances up until this point. But one thing which I know you've been critical of, that Dave has been a little critical of at times, is you haven't maybe shown your power enough. You haven't maybe planted your feet into the canvas and just shown everybody what you can do with regards to your power. Just kind of to touch on that, what do you make of those comments?
Do you know what? I listen, because I'm not ignorant. I do listen to what people say. But at the end of the day, I'm the boxer. I'm experienced. I have been boxing for many years now, and when it comes to me fighting opponents, I do what it takes to win the easiest way possible. If I have to walk someone down for 12 rounds, trust me, I'll do that. And if that makes it easier fight, I'll do that. If I have to box in the back foot, move, pop and move to make the fight easier, I do that. So it's a matter of adjusting and doing what it takes to win and doing it the easiest way as possible.
I think more so the frustration certainly stemmed on the back of a Timo Lane win, a comfortable night's work for you.
Mm,
Um, I was think at the time I remember people saying they just wanted to maybe see you put your foot on the gas a little bit more.
yeah.
When you go back to that night, how would you assess it now?
Yeah, I can agree with that. With the Timo Lane performance, I believe it was a good boxing performance, very clinical boxing performance. And, if I did go out the gears, I believe I would have stopped Timo Lane because I was hurting Timo, hence why he decided to move around, etc., and not engage as much. But it's funny how things play out because I've got a good solid 8 rounds under my belt after being, was it 13? I think it was 13 months out the ring. And obviously now I've got the European title shot. So it worked out, well in my favor. I've got the rounds under my belt. Even though I don't believe in ring rust, I got rid of all that ring rust and it's time to go now for this European title.
And that's something I was going to say. How key was it for you to be able to get out at least once at the end of last year, just to kind of get that feel factor back in the ring ahead of this bout on May 15th?
Yeah, it was good. Like my career's kind of been stop start anyway. So I'm kind of used to that sort of experience now. Like I don't believe in ring rust. I'm always in the gym. I'm always training. And obviously, as you know, like it's plain to see, obviously on the night, it is different. It is a little bit different, but I enjoy it. And, it was good for me to get the rounds in.
I know you won't want to look past and beyond May 15th, but Have you thought about what could be next for you? You pick up that European title. Would you like to defend it a couple of times? Would you like to just look at other opportunities further up the ladder? Have you thought about it?
I haven't really thought about it as such. I've just been firmly focused on this fight. Obviously, now you've asked me if winning this title, it does bring a lot more opportunities. I can officially say, look, I'm a world contender after this fight, and I'll be in position for bigger fights, which I'm very, very excited for. With my career, I've always believed in stepping up and stepping up the opposition and stepping up levels in terms of fighters and belts, and I'm going to continue doing so into a retire.
I mean, of course, let's say if you win and you do start to push towards that world scene, Lerrone, you obviously have the Canelo Billy Joe fight. Winner of that, you would like to think will get the Caleb Plant fight. Then you have the undisputed champion. Many people favour Canelo in the division. Many see him as a pound for pound star. How do you think you'd fare against the elite in the division?
You see, I haven't looked into that. When it comes to skill set, trust me, I'm on a higher level. And, you can ask a lot of these world-class fighters that I've sparred with, they'll be able to tell you the same thing. With me now, it's about gaining experience, learning at every level, like I've said, a lot of times in the past. And then, when I get that opportunity, or when I earn my opportunity, I'll be able to showcase my skills and get the win.
Just want to touch on that world scene, as I say. Canelo-Saunders is on May 8th. What are your thoughts on it?
Do you know what? It's a very, very good fight. It's a very intriguing fight. You can see why both fighters can win. If you go off form, you would go Canelo. If you go off, ability, I would always go with Billy Joe Saunders. Billy Joe Saunders is a very good boxer. He's very intelligent, and I like Billy Joe. So, I wish Billy Joe all the best. I know he can pull it off, and hopefully he does.
Everybody knows how talented Billy Joe is and how brilliant a technician of a ring he is. But do you think his style and how people would assume he will box against Canelo would be enough for him to come away with a victory? Obviously, a lot of talk about judges and what have you.
Yeah, I feel so. You see, a lot of people are talking a lot about the southpaw style, but you're only really a good southpaw if you know how to use it correctly. And there's a few fighters, that do. And Billy Joe's one of them. And I would like to say I'm one of them as well. And, that's what's going to cause Canelo Alvarez problems. And, I can't wait to watch it. I would have loved to, if I wasn't boxing the week after, I would have tried my best to get there. But, I would love to see Billy Joe Saunders win the titles and bring it back to Britain.
Lerrone, I could be mistaken, but you've sparred Billy Joe previously, haven't you?
Yeah, I sparred Billy Joe years ago for Andy Lee.
That was it. I knew,
Yeah.
I knew you rung a bell. Just kind of going over your past sparring experiences with Billy Joe. What do you make of them now, and how key has it been for your own development?
The good thing about Billy, he's honest.
Yeah.
Straight down the middle. What you see is what you get. And we get along, me and Bill, because we're both similar like that. Like, I'm not going to feed anyone BS. I'm not going to lie. I'm just very, very honest. And he used to tell me, look, Lerrone, you can do this, you can do that. And even though I believed in myself, I always backed myself. It's always nice hearing it from other people, especially, people that have been there and they've done it. And, when sparring all these world-class fighters, you learn a lot of things, little tricks, and you gain a lot of experience. And, you start to understand what level you can operate at. And, Billy Joe Saunders is one of them guys who definitely backed me and definitely spoke highly of me. And I will never forget. I'll never forget it.
And then obviously just to kind of touch on a couple of the fights. Somebody you've previously faced, Lennox Clark, overcoming someone who he was going to face before other opportunities arose in Willie Hutchinson. 5th round stoppage victory. Lerrone, what did you make of Lennox's win?
Yeah, it was good. He's very, very impressive from Lennox. It's funny because, like I said to everyone before, it's like a lot of people, they tend to discredit me, what I do. And they think that somehow the way they discredit me is like Lerrone's crap. Lerrone's won the WBA European, International, British and Commonwealth. That means Lerrone's rubbish. They sort of completely discredit me. And because they discredit me, they thought, oh, because Lerrone beat Lennox must be crap. Nah. And, one thing I've never said, I never disrespect anyone. I've always stayed in my lane and I've always done my own thing. And Lennox Clark ain't crap, and I'm sure everyone found out that night that was the case.
Do you think for yourself, with Lennox winning, especially in the fashion he did, it does give you more credibility for your win and your performance against him?
Yeah, I suppose so, but I don't look into all of that, man. I just do my own thing. Congratulations to Lennox. Willie Hutchinson's will be back, and you just move forward.
Now, of course, like we said, we know for yourself, you're looking above and beyond that European scene, provided you're successful on May 15th. But Lennox is still calling for a future bout with yourself. Do you think the pair of you could cross paths again?
Yeah, man, of course. Like, it's boxing. If it makes sense, it would happen. But like Lennox is saying, he's looking up above. So why can't Lerrone Richards?
It's very well put, Lerrone. And then just final ones I want to touch on. You've got Demetrius, Andrade and Liam Williams who fought this past weekend. Andrade with a comfortable points victory. Just your thoughts on his win?
Yeah, it was a very good win by Andrade. I was sparring Liam Williams and he was looking very sharp in the gym. And I like Williams and I would have loved to see him win that belt. But he put up a good account of himself and he should be very proud of himself. His family should be proud of himself, proud of him. The whole of Wales, Great Britain should be proud of him as well, and he'll be back.
For Andrade, what impressed you the most from his performance? Certainly, there's a variety of shots, but one in particular that caught many eyes was that uppercut, which he just seemed to land endlessly throughout the fight.
Yeah, it was, his ring generalship, Andrade, and once again, he's another fighter that sort of goes under the radar and doesn't really get the credit that he deserves. But, like I always say, it's all about the skills and, it's a sweet science of boxing. And there's only a few fighters that have that nailed down to a T.
And then just final one with Andrade, I was talking about Charlo Golovkin and what have you, the one unification next. How do you think he would fare against one of the other champions?
I think he'll fare very, very well. He's not easy, Andrade, and he's very skillful, and he's definitely one of the best in the division. So, yeah, I want to see him in a big fight now. I would like to see him with Golovkin or someone like that. It'll be good to see.
Right, Lerrone, as always, I'd like to leave a final word to the person I'm interviewing. So, for everybody who's followed your journey and supported you, especially throughout this past year or so with the pandemic, what would you like to say to them?
I want to say thank you, for all the support, everyone. I really appreciate it. I want to thank my mum, my dad, my sisters, my son, for all the support. I want to thank my sponsors, FCI Markets. I want to thank BoxFit for the kits, and also my coach, Dave Caldwell, my advisory management team at S-Jam, Sam Jones, Adam Morley for the support. And the future's bright. The future's bright together.
All right, Lerrone, it's been a pleasure to catch up with you. Obviously, I'll keep in touch and speak to you again soon. Enjoy the rest of the camp. Best of luck on May 15th, and I'll speak to you soon. Like I say, thank you, Speak to Boxing Social.
I appreciate it, mate. Take care.